Hi, welcome to MessyMissy Creates. This is Melissa. Welcome to the March edition of Inspired to Create prompt challenge. I think we have, I hope we have the hashtag straightened out. And my understanding of what we agreed on is the Inspired to Create _2023. We had talked, Allison and I had talked about making one, trying to decide on one that we could use for long term so it doesn't keep changing every month. And, you know, we could do one that would last however long we do this. But I think even just going back over, being able to look back over the year, I think would be interesting. And then, of course, if we do it the second year, you'd have February, March, and April again. Or however many months we do this. I had gotten back at the end of February. Well, like that was a long time ago, right? And I was looking at the hashtag, and it was so fun to see everybody's. There were some that I hadn't seen. So it was so fun to see everybody's posts on even on Instagram. And I was telling Allison that I thought, it's sad to see that stop. And meaning we had already decided to do, another month of it, but it just to start over. Anyway, we didn't want to have to start over with a new hashtag every month. So I think this one for the year, and then, we might decide to do something different next year. Who knows, right? So anyway, onward and forward. So we're in March. I'm actually doing this the early morning of March 1st. And because I couldn't get my act together yesterday, and which is nothing new. I had a little meltdown over my journal choosing, and so I did not include you in that, so there is not a video coming out. All I did, I had I had made a basket of my March journal stuff weeks ago and had been putting stuff in there, so in my mind, I had it all figured out what I was going to do, and I'd found a composition book with the grid paper. I had to order it. And so I was excited about that, and I thought, okay, well, all I have to do is glue the pages together and be done with it. Well, then I realized it had 100 pages in it, and that would give me 50 pages, and it's not enough to do 2 months. It's way too many for 1 month, blah, blah, blah. Whatever will I do? So if I had, and I could have just ripped out some of the pages, but that also makes it real loose in the spine. Anyway, that led to me doing some mad dash to figure out something to do with the journal. So I had almost done this for February and I didn't, so I decided to go back and try it again. So I spent all day yesterday dyeing paper, and I laundered paper, y'all. I seriously was laundering paper. I don't even iron my own clothes, yet I found myself dyeing, cooking, and ironing paper. So here we have it. I had already selected my cover, or the paper for my cover for this month, and I'm not like horribly opposed to pink. It's not something I reach for all the time. I'm finding that the older I get, the more okay I am with it. However, so I had intended on doing a green spine, but then these little pink bunny ears and the little pink birds. Okay, the truth is I didn't have a green that matched. All of my greens were more in the olive green. Anyway, that was the reality of it, and the pink matched the little ears and the tutu and the bird, so I just went with pink. I was so sick of seeing pink after February that I couldn't believe I chose pink. However, I did, and here is my cover. That's all I've done. I haven't done the back cover, which I may not do that anyway. I haven't done anything to the inside, but what I did do is I dyed, I got my pages out, and I went ahead and dyed or ink smudged or whatever the case is, because after after putting my glue book together, I couldn't stomach gluing more pages together. The thought of it just sent me into orbit yesterday, and it just wasn't happening. So I have this, you would think that Easter was in March because this looks like a bunch of Easter eggs, but I'm okay with it. I do love spring colors. I love fall colors equally, maybe more, but I love all the pastel, not so much just the pastels, the brighter versions of the pastels like this. So anyway, this is what I did. I did not glue them together. They're single sheets. I probably at some point in the month will have marker that will go through the pages. I'll have to deal with that. If I write something on here, I mean, I did a couple test pages to see which markers I could use. If I have some bleed through, I'll cover it up with something. I'll deal with that when the time comes. One mistake I did make, and it almost caused me to have to unbind and rebind this journal last night, is I did not put in my pages for my calendar or my monthly view. And I was really sad about that. I don't think I want to go in and rebind it. Obviously, after I do this page today, I won't be able to because it's going to run across the page a little bit. So I think I'll try a different method. Elizabeth had shown in a video a couple weeks ago about like gluing in a tip in. So I'm going to try that. If not, I just won't have an attached monthly view this time. So, and that makes me sad, but I don't have enough page. Usually I put excess pages in it, and I didn't this time. So anyway, there's the history on why you did not get to see me make my March journal. Or there's the explanation anyway. Okay, so because my handwriting is so bad, I decided to print this out so that you could see it easily. And here we go, right? March. I'm going to leave this first page. I don't ever, I mean, I'll do like a cover page, but anyway. So this was, the word for this week 1 is green. And so I needed some kind of green page. So I have one. And yes, I was going to use green as my color. But I found a way out of that. That felt like cheating, but it's not. If you want to use green for your G, go right ahead. But I did pre-write that. So here are my, let's see. This is going to be a silly collage. I know you've seen them. I cannot remember the lady's name that does this or did this a long time ago or started this or whatever. But I've always loved this, and I thought, well, the letters just kind of lent themselves to it. Okay, I had another plan, and I lost one of my elements, so I had to get a new plan. So this was my new plan. Okay, so we have, well, she's actually not one of them. She's just the base for it. So I have gold, or I have a green background. That's good enough. I have, she's going to be wearing a necklace. And yes, this looks gaudy and silly, and it's okay. Gold, the necklace is also gold, so green or gold. She's going to have a ribbon in her hair. So that's my R. She's going to have silly eyes. And someone else's, oh, nose, yes, I forgot nose was actually my, well, I wrote necklace, but nose was actually my N because I was using the gold. It doesn't matter, I got them all covered. Oh, the other E, I was trying to find ears, but I couldn't, so we went with electricity. Like she's having an idea, right? So let's remove all of this. I think I'm going to have to glue this down first, though. So I kind of want to get an idea of, yeah, I did you're happy, I know, I cut out all my stuff first. The reason why I did that is because I had to be very strategic and cut out several things to make sure they were going to fit on my page. And I could cross over the whole page and do it like this, but I'm trying to eliminate, well, I may still. I did draw little lines here. I can keep it mostly on one page. Let's move her nose because I've already lost it once. That was my other meltdown last night. And that's why I didn't make the video last night. And obviously the eyes will go down. I'll probably trim this down a little bit, but I want to wait until I have everything glued down to see. I'm trying to get as much of this necklace on as I can, but yet still have it hide most of that. So yeah, I can run it over, and that's why I was talking about I can't rebind this after I do this page, but I needed to get this page done, so, you know, there it is. So, this is what I'm thinking. Okay, don't lose the nose again. Do you know how hard that was to find that on my carpet? Yeah. So, I may have to cut off like one little piece of that, but it's fine. I'm going to trim it down here, I think, and here. And so, let me just play with this for just a second. I already did this a couple of times. Because, see, I think if we try to do it over both pages, I also tried or thought about doing it this way. And obviously, I have way more room, and I might still do that. I could kind of tuck the necklace behind her hair a little bit. And I can still trim off a little bit of that blue. I don't know, that's going to really give her a double chin. She might not like that. Because, you know, who wants a double chin, right? She already has her cheeks puffed out. Let's see if that... I don't need the nose. Don't move the nose anymore. That might actually work, but I think I'm going to do this. I'm okay with it being mostly on one page because, you know, hopefully I still will have something to journal about over here. So I'm going to go ahead and put that light bulb down. I drew kind of some lines just at the base of where I wanted her. And then the necklace I can shift. I'm trying to keep this green piece on. So, like I said, I'm probably going to have to trim down that part of the necklace a little bit. But I think that works. And then that way we only have a few things jumping the curb. So, yeah, could you imagine having to rebind this after doing this? So, okay, so that's where I want her. I'm going to trim a little bit of this blue off the top of her head. I just kind of loosely cut her last night, or, you know, cut her out. It took me a while to find the pieces that were somewhat the right size that would work with each other. I mean, obviously, the idea is to have them kind of silly looking. And again, I don't know if you've ever seen Tisha Moore, maybe. Is that right? Somebody can correct me in the comments. Yeah, tell me if I'm right. I know there's been other people since then that have done this, but I think it was Tisha Moore that kind of, I'm going to say started it. That was the first person I ever saw that did it years ago. Let's see. Where's my glue stick? And I did, if you saw my last video, my journal with me video from, I think, yesterday, you'll know that I did finish putting together the glue book. So I'm eager to start that. I am only going to put some glue down the center and maybe like on the bottom, because I'm going to need, you know, some allowances for tucking. And then I can go back and glue the edges later. I will be so glad to have this down on paper. I have been shuffling and playing with this for, I can't even tell you how long. Okay, so at least she's tacked down now. You know, this made me decide, I never want, not that it will happen, but I never want my picture in a magazine. Because I don't want to run the risk of somebody doing this to my face. Let's see. And this doesn't have to actually be on her like a necklace, but I also wanted it to cover up a little bit of her neckline there, like that. So, and I'm okay with a little bit of that being trimmed off. I like how it runs off the edge a little bit. Let's see. I was thinking the way I had it arranged before, I had to cut off a little bit of this over here, but maybe not. Okay, I'm thinking that works. Thinking that works okay. And like I said, I can trim that down if I need to. But I don't think I'm gonna, yeah, I thought I had to trim off a little bit of that. And it can go, it doesn't have to tuck behind her. It can just lay right over her. So I'm thinking, you know, every collage to me, when I do one, it has a story. And so the story goes, this big necklace is choking her and she can't breathe, or it's heavy, and so that's why she's making that face. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Let's see if I can do this without tearing it. This is not the recommended way of gluing something down. But, okay, the rest will be easier with this art glitter glue. Yeah, I could have trimmed her hair. I actually had found some silly hair, and it just was too much. It was a little bit of overkill. So I decided to scratch that and not try to overdo it. It wasn't one of the elements that I needed, so I kind of just nixed that idea. Okay, I'm gonna actually fold that a little bit just to get that crease right there. And then now I'm gonna glue this down, and you know that because you can see me doing it. I didn't have to tell you that. So, are any of you gonna play along this month? We would love, I really have enjoyed, I hope that you've enjoyed it, whether you're just watching or whether you're participating. But it has been fun. There's times it's been a little hectic just trying to make it all happen just with, you know, the rest of life. And also, again, not to rehash all of that, but, you know, being sick last month did not help. I just felt like I got behind on everything, and when you do that, you know, you don't feel like you give 100% to the things that you do get done. So that was kind of where I was last month. So hopefully I'll be able to do a little bit more. When I say more, I mean, you know, doing things with not the way that you want them, but doing things, being able to give it 100%, or at least, you know, whatever percentage I intend on giving it that particular week. You know, not every week we can do everything amazing, right? But I at least want to do it well enough that I'm enjoying it. Oh, and I have been, don't get me wrong. I need to just hush now. I think that's what I need to do. But I think it just felt, a lot of it felt rushed to me. Maybe that's what I'm trying to say. So, let's see if we can give her some eyeballs. And I was going to cut this down a little bit more, but it doesn't hide her, I need it to hide her glasses. And I actually thought this lady's, the size of her face and everything went pretty well with it. I still want to leave enough. I'm not trying to make it to where you can't see. I'm not trying to make it to where you don't know it's been pieced together, is what I'm trying to say. I still want it to look silly, that's the idea, but I don't need all this excess right here. So let me just trim it just a hair. You know, I still want it to look like a band of eyes, obviously. I think that will work. Let me see if I can do this with the glue stick. And there we go. She has eyes. All right, so there's my eyes. And this is the first one I've ever done. I've seen people do them, and I think they're silly and fun and whatever, but this is the first one I've ever done. So it was, I wasn't like real experienced in what I needed. So it was a process of elimination, but it was, I had fun. I actually got down on the floor, which was very difficult for me, by the way. Got down on the floor with all my magazines, and my husband was just giggling at me, trying to figure out what in the world I was doing, because he had never seen it. So to get him to kind of understand, which don't get me wrong, he still thought I was crazy. But he is you know, somebody that doesn't do this would not necessarily understand why you might want to put somebody else's eyes on some, you know, someone's face, and especially a random nose. And that nose that I got, the lady wasn't even front facing, so she was actually at like almost a 3/4 tilt. So it looks even funnier because it's kind of tilted, but it made it stick out more. It looks a little bit more like a beak. Oh, what started this was, what gave me the idea initially was I found this, and oh, I need to find it. Hopefully you can still hear me. Let me see if I can find this in this basket, because I saved it to show you. It didn't work. I couldn't find a face big enough, and then if I'd have found a face big enough, it wouldn't have fit on my journal. But there was this ad right here, and after I had lost my one element that I had planned to do, I had to regroup. And so when I've mentioned this in a video before, when I need some inspiration or I need to regroup, I leave the craft room, I go into the living room or wherever, and I sit and flip through a magazine. And generally by the first, second, or third magazine, I've run across images that have given me ideas. So I ran across this ad, and this little nose was so cute. It's a little doggy nose, see? And I was like, nose. And then these eyes. And so I was trying like mad to give some lady this little puppy nose and these little cat eyes. The cat eyes were easier than the nose, but you know, when I finally found a face that was big enough that would have fit that nose and not covered her whole face, it didn't fit on my page. So, but that's where the inspiration came from. Because when I was regrouping, having to start over with my prompts or my, you know, choices for my letters, I ran across this and was like, nose, eyes, I can do this. Now, originally when I, you know, thought about that, I thought I would draw an eye, and I might still one day for another E. But for now, I'm doing this. Okay, so this was that little, remember the little piece of envelope that I had to cut off that Allison sent me for week 4 of the February? I saved it, and I was able to make use of it. I might trim that down. I might not. No, I think I'm going to leave it. I'm going to glue this on. Actually, I'm going to trim this. Anyway, then I had found this cute little guy. And I thought, oh, I could use that nose. I think that might look like Elizabeth's dog. I'm not sure. I don't know my dog breeds very well. I don't know small dog breeds very well. This was where I cut that envelope. If you watched week 4's prompts, let me back up a second. If you're new, or if you did not watch if you have not watched the February prompt challenge videos yet, Allison at AJ's Inspired Life and I decided to do some prompt challenges, and it started mainly to inspire and challenge each other to create. Inspired is from her channel name and create is from my channel name. And so that's where the hashtag came from. And we decided to put out, at least for February, and then we said we'd see how it went. We decided to pick 4 words, 1 per week. And the first week of the month, we chose our own prompts. And that's what I did this week. So we repeated it for March. The second week, we gave each other the prompts, meaning I told her what words to use. We took the word, green is the word of the week. And with each letter, we choose a prompt. So like next week, whatever our word is, I will give her words, her prompts for the word we chose. Does that make sense? There's a word for that, and I can't think of what it is. You can tell me that in the comments too. Let's see. And then week 3, well, anyway, you can go back and watch the videos. I think we're going to repeat what we did in February because it was fun. There is a 5th week or 5th Wednesday in March, so we're going to add a twist. So stay tuned for that. It'll be really fun, I promise. And so that, if you were new or missed and have no clue as to why I'm doing this, that's why. So I'm going to glue this. Oh, yeah. I was in the process of gluing. So that's why I have this little piece of envelope that Allison sent me. Because it was part of, that was week 4 that we actually mailed each other items to use. Not just chose the prompts, but we swapped items, physical items in the mail. And we challenged you all to do the same. Find someone to swap with. It doesn't have to be by mail, but it can be in person. Or at least have someone pick your prompts. Week 3 of February, we had our husbands choose our prompts. That didn't quite go. It was funny, and it was fun. I think next month will be better. Now, I tell you what it did do. And, you know, sometimes things have an unexpected result. When we first decided to do this back in January, I gave my husband a heads up. I'm like, you have a month, or roughly, to think of. I told him 5, well, it was 4, it was only 4. I gave him a month to pick those. I said crafts, well, I said prompts, and he said, what's a prompt? Okay, don't expect someone who doesn't craft to know what a prompt is. And I said, well, think of it this way. I showed him my page in my journal, and I said, the things that I can, either craft supplies or things that I can glue and find an image of and glue into my journal. He's like, okay. Ooh, I almost forgot her ribbon. And so that started his mission. So every day he'd come home and he'd randomly just spout off. The word for February was date. And he'd come up, and initially he came up with the elephant and the dancing elephant and under the apple tree, whatever. And I'm like, oh, please change your mind. So, and I'd kind of drop hints. Now, I never prompted him necessarily, like gave him a word, but I'd like maybe leave something out on the table where he could see it, you know, like I was hint, you know. But he did end up surprising me with Dauber, and I ran with it because I didn't know how to make the elephant dance. I spent 4 weeks trying to figure out how to make an elephant dance on my page. And then he came up with Dauber, and I was like, yes, yes, yes. So I'm like, okay, stop. That's good enough. So anyway, if you've watched mine or Allison's video, you know what a struggle that was. But what it did is it got him more involved in my hobby. And I think that is an awesome thing. And so he's already paid attention. Now, sometimes you might not want your significant other to pay attention to the craft supplies that you buy, maybe. But my husband does buy me, you know, for birthdays and Christmas and things like that. He does buy some of my craft supplies. Like, he buys some of my Copic markers because they're expensive. And anyway, yeah, you might not want them to know how expensive some of this stuff is. But he's very supportive. He does not, I mean, I'm not going to say he doesn't care. He does care. But, you know, the expensive ones I save for holidays, you know, Christmas, birthday gifts, whatever. So, that's kind of been his thing now is, you know, with the Copic markers, I have a color chart. And at first I left it to where he could see it. Oh, I might be sad I cut that short, but I don't want these wrinkles on here. Let's see. I don't want to add any more bulk. I mean, this is a lot of bulk to add on the first day of your journal. Let me just say that. I might be regretting this, like on the second day of March. But for now, that's what I want. If I can go back and find a paper ribbon, I might change that. But I thought, I'm a mixed media gal. I really like mixed media art. And so this definitely falls into that. And I might have to go into my card making supplies, which are not in this room. Yes, when you reach the empty nest stage of your life, you can have 2 craft rooms. Just saying. Anyway, I might have to go get like one of those little glue dots. But art glitter glue usually will hold most anything. If not, I can get out my Fabri-Tac. But like I said, that's good enough for now. And I think that she's fun, and I think that she's silly. And I'm trying to remember if I finished all my sentences, because I know I'm notorious for leaving you hanging. I do not have, I'm not going to put that in just yet. I don't have my numbers picked out, what I'm going to do yet, or cut out. And I don't have them at the ready, so I'm not going to do that. I think I need to trim this down just a hair. There we go. Add a little bit of glue. Did I forget anything? I have the gold. Necklace nose, whichever end, green or gold, whichever. I have the ribbon, I have the eyes, I have the electricity, and I have the necklace. I'm just going to add a little smidge of glue right here so that it doesn't pull up or doesn't lift. Make sure I have all of my little pieces. Let me pull it closer to me so I don't have to reach across. And there we go. I think we're done. And this was super fun. Like I said, it wasn't what I originally planned, but when I got frustrated, I walked away from looking at what I was frustrated with, and I went into another room and I thumbed through some magazines and I got some new inspiration. And it turned out more fun than what I originally was going to do. So, welcome to March. Did I forget anything? Tag us. We'd love to see if you make YouTube videos or post on Instagram. Tag us at MessyMissy Creates and AJ's Inspired Life. Guess what I forgot to do? Let's see. Do I have a black marker? It doesn't matter. Duh. Okay. See, I thought I was prepared today. I did better. But anyway, but this is March 1st, week 1 of our Inspired to Create prompt challenge. And I hope you enjoyed it. And I can't wait to see what you create. We have such a variety of We have people do this. It does not have to be in a journal. It can be mixed media. I did an art journal one, I think for week 2 last month. I did more of an art journal page. We have someone who participates that does glue book and stickers, and there's so many different ways that you can do this. So you're not limited. If you don't have a journal, you're not limited to that. You can do it in whatever form of crafting or art or mixed media, anything that you're doing. And you just choose your items based on this word. You can use, mine will be different from Allison's, I think. Now, we don't watch each other's videos before. We try to put them out kind of together. And we do not watch what the other one does before we create our pages. And it's really fun to see everybody's take on this. But you're welcome to use our prompts, my prompts, her prompts. You can mix them. You can create your own. However you want to do this. This is just meant to inspire you to be creative. And we look forward so much to seeing what you create with them. Use the hashtag, tag us so we can see. And follow us, subscribe, all the things, and so that you don't miss the next one. And we hope that you have a great day, a great start to your month, and we look forward to the rest of March. See you in the next video. Bye.